Okay, so my dad shook my fake boyfriend's hand, looked him dead in the eyes.
You remind me of myself at your age.
3 hours later, I found the photo, and I realized he was not wrong. 4.2 GPA, 2 science fairs, and my dad once responded to a perfect SAT practice score with his usual response.
What happened to the other point?
That's my origin story. That's the whole thing. My dad, Richard Calloway, rich to everyone, which is both his name and his entire personality, grades everything. Honor roll? Violin recital?
You forgot to tune.
I literally pulled a golden retriever out of traffic once. He asked if it was a purebred. It was not. He looked disappointed. I still don't know if it was about the dog. I genuinely do not know. He lives in a massive house 40 minutes from my mom's apartment. The kind of house with a guest bathroom no one uses and framed golf photos in every hallway. I see him twice a month. I try to be impressive. He tries to find the flaw. Circle of life, baby. Then he called. Real visit, dinner.
Bring someone if you want.
Which, translated from dad speak, meant, have you figured out being a person yet? I had not. That is when Priya, my best friend and professional bad idea supplier, pulled up what I can only describe as a Craigslist-adjacent marketplace for social emergencies. She read profiles aloud while eating Doritos, which honestly felt appropriate. The first guy listed breathing as a hobby. Breathing! The second one's photo was a blurry elbow. Then Ethan's profile loaded. Under skills, normal, probably. Priya looked at me. I looked at her. $60! Done. I want to be clear. I knew this was a bad idea. I knew it the way you know a food has gone bad, but you eat it anyway because you're hungry and optimistic and deeply unwise. I did it anyway. First mistake, not my biggest. I coached Ethan for 2 full hours the day before. Full briefing. Notes. I made actual notes, people. Don't mention money, art, my grades, my hair, my mom, or anything that has ever happened to either of us. He stared at me the entire time.
So, weather?
I said yes, just weather. Keep it simple. I had a system. I was so catastrophically wrong about weather. Dad opened the door, shook Ethan's hand, and before I even got my jacket off, he was already steering Ethan down the hallway toward his study to show him golf trophies. Actual golf trophies, like this was a normal thing to do to a stranger. I stood in the foyer, alone, holding my own jacket like a coat rack with feelings. He must really like him. I smiled. My face did that entirely without my permission. By the time we sat down, Ethan had mentioned the weather exactly once, and Dad had turned it into a 20-minute story about a golf trip to Scotland involving fog, a birdie, and a caddy named Gerald. Dad was laughing. Real, full laughing. The kind I had a vague childhood memory of, but couldn't quite locate. Like a word you used to know. This is such wonderful family energy. I ate my soup. Then I made my move. Regional Science Symposium. Top 40 students in the state. I'd been saving it for the right moment. The perfect moment. I sat up straight. I brought it up clean, confident, exactly the way I'd practiced in the mirror that morning. Then he turned to Ethan and asked about his future plans.
I haven't figured it out yet.
I respect that.
I had a 4.2 GPA, and the honest answer was better. I excused myself to grab my charger from the study. I needed 30 seconds away from that table before I said something I could not take back. I should have just let my phone die. The study smelled like cedar and old paper, the kind of room designed to look like someone important lives there. I found my charger behind the desk and was about to leave when I saw it, half tucked behind a framed award, like it had been hidden there once and then forgotten. A photo, small, old, a woman I had never seen, holding a baby, both of them squinting into sunlight, smiling at someone off camera, someone who wasn't there anymore. I flipped it over. Carol and E, don't forget us. I almost put it down. Then I saw the name on the edge of the frame. Voss. The room didn't spin. It went very, very quiet. Like all the sound got pulled out at once, and what was left was just me and this photograph and the slow, horrible click of something falling into place. I hired a fake boyfriend. He turned out to be my real half-brother. My plan had a flaw. Several flaws. Fundamental, structural, load-bearing flaws. I walked back to the dinner table, sat down, picked up my fork. Dad had his hand on Ethan's shoulder. Easy, warm, natural. The way I had always imagined it would feel. I had spent 16 years years trying to earn that hand on my shoulder. Ethan had earned it in 2 hours. By existing, I did not cry. That felt important. It's so wonderful that Rich is thinking about the future. All that estate paperwork. I told him it's never too early. The fork went still in my hand. I excused myself again, pulled Ethan into the hallway, shoved the photo in front of his face without saying a word. He looked at it for a long moment. Then he looked at me. No surprise, no apology, just that same quiet recognition I'd been misreading all night, like he had been waiting for this exact second.
I knew who he was. I saw your last name on the ad. I needed to get in front of him. I needed to ask him why he left my mom.
He wasn't lying. He wasn't even cruel about it. He was just honest, the way people are when they've been holding something too heavy for too long. That was almost worse. Invisible to my father, used by a stranger, completely alone in a house full of people who were all talking around the one thing that mattered. Something inside me went very still, and then, quietly, it hardened. I walked back into that dining room and I put the photo on the table, face up, between the dinner plates. I didn't slam it, didn't cry, didn't perform anything. I just set it down like evidence, because that is exactly what it was. His name is Ethan Voss. I think you know why his last name sounds familiar. The table went silent. Diane stopped smiling, and Dad's face did something I had never seen it do in 16 years of trying to impress him. It went uncertain. Ethan looked at the photo, then at my father, and he asked the question he'd been carrying his whole life. The real reason he'd taken a $60 job from a stranger on the internet and sat through an entire dinner pretending to be my boyfriend.
Why did you leave my mom?
Dad didn't answer. He did what he has always done. He managed the situation. He looked at Ethan and talked about the future, about possibility, about making things right. Mentioned carefully that he'd been reviewing his estate plans. He did not look at me once. That was the answer. Right there. That was the whole thing. I stood up. Not in rage. I was done with rage. I spent 16 years trying to be enough for you. I'm done now. I picked up my jacket, looked at Ethan. You coming? He looked at my father one last time, got what he came for. Not the answer he wanted, but the truth he needed. He stood up. We walked out together. 2 kids failed by the same man, leaving the same table for reasons that were somehow the exact same reason. Neither of us said anything until we hit the cold air outside. And then Ethan let out this long, slow breath, like he'd been holding it for years. I kind of understood that. Oh dear. So, I didn't get a boyfriend. I got a brother, a therapist's worth of material, and the clearest look at my dad I have ever had, which is genuinely the most I have ever gotten from one of these visits. Honestly, best $60 I ever spent.